And that one is acceptance. So it doesn't matter if you watch the videos out of order, that's fine. It's no priority. I'm just going from A to Z, but it's no priority because they're all very important. And they all tells a story about my journey. So A was acceptance. Is basically just letting you know that you have to accept where you're at so you can do something about it. A lot of times if we're not even accepting where we're at, it's really hard to then do something about it. If we're not even accepting that we're in a bad place, so we're not even accepting that this is truly violence, this is truly a place we don't want to be, this is a space that we do not want to be in. It is hurting us, it is harmful to us and our family or our family. Where we are accepting and understanding where we are at, you can then formulate a plan to get out of that situation. Okay? So B, bitterness. That is what I think about when I think of the letter B in relation to my domestic violence journey. There was a lot of bitterness. Days where you would expect people to be, happy, expect yourself to be happy, like maybe your birthdays and holidays, graduations, parties, gatherings. Domestic violence, it just takes a toll on every facet of your life. So when we would have those big celebrations and things like that, he won't. Not for long. So everybody would be just kind of sitting around talking and laughing, enjoying each other's company. And I noticed he would always, wherever I'm at, he would find me, and then come sit by me or stand by me and just kind of say these underhanded remarks, things like, oh, you just like to be seen. Even though you're thinking like, what is that supposed to mean? So like I said, I got really good at being invisible. It's just kind of disappearing from a room full of people, even though I'm in plain sight. Just think about that. You're in a room full of you have a ton of people in a room and you feel invisible. But that's actually what they prefer. They want you to feel invisible because they do not want anyone else to pay any attention to you. Only them. They figure, what I think, they figure you was put on this earth for them and them alone. So for no one else to interact with you. And that's a pretty sad existence, but that is their happy place. They would rather you be that way. They would rather you not have like a bubbly personality. That was the same reason they so-called started liking you, but then you notice once you start dating them, all those things that they said they liked about you, now all of a sudden it's a problem because they do not want you to be accessible to other people. And it's just sad any way you look at it. So it's hard to be happy around people like that because they want to make sure that you're not, because it makes them happy for you to be unhappy. You have to think about it. If you're around someone and they're unhappy because you're happy, that tells you a lot about a person. That is definitely a red flag. And domestic violence is not just males that go through that. It's not just females that go through that. It's both. It's both. The perpetrators are male and female. It's not a certain gender. It's not a certain age. It's not a certain age. Domestic violence occurs across all age groups, all nationalities, all cultures. So don't think for one second that, oh, I'm too young or I'm too old to go through that. You're actually not. You're not. So I'm just here to tell you that you definitely do not want to be around someone that's making you bitter, and they're enjoying that. They enjoy that because the sadder you are, the less likely you are to interact with people, and they would rather you not interact with people. They do not like that. They do not. They do not want you smiling at people, especially if it's the opposite sex. They do not want you saying nice things about people, especially if you're telling them, because they do not want to hear that. They do not, because they take that as, oh, you like that other person. Or you like them better than me. Or why are you talking to them? Why are they talking to you? It's almost like every type of interaction with anybody else is questioned. So you always feel like you're doing something wrong, which is how that bitterness creeps in. Because if you're constantly feeling like you're being watched all the time and you're doing something wrong, what type of life is that? What type of existence is that? What type of relationship is that? I will tell you what type of relationship that is. That is a domestic violence relationship. That is definitely one of the warning signs. When you have someone that is making you to feel that way, you know, and they get joy out of it. You notice the only time they're happy is when you're not. That is pretty sad to even think about. So definitely, I want to make sure that you know that something that you should be going through, that is not something you should continue to go through, and you have to think of ways to get out of there safely. We will have the information for the National Domestic Violence Hotline below to make sure you reach out, definitely, and find how you can get out of that relationship. Okay? The sooner the better. You have no time to spare. Okay? Until next time, I hope you have a blessed day, blessed life, blessed journey, and I will talk to you again.